Welcome to my hackathon submission for the nous hackathon automated business. This is my project, the Mercury Agent Commerce Protocol Exchange with Nemo Herms. So the idea of my project is that AI agent Herms can shop for the users and the merchants can sell and buy in safe, isolated Nemo shells with Nemotron Super as the brain. So on the left is the buyer sandbox. This is where Nemo Herms helps the user search, compare, and prepare a purchase by making a cart for them. And then on the right, we have the merchant sandbox. And this is a separate sandbox that Nemo Herms merchants owned. The catalog, the orders, the fulfillment, some automation, and Stripe payment keys. So, and then what connects them is this ACP protocol. Both sides will expose a protocol where they can communicate to each other with. So it lets the buyers and agents merchant systems talk through a structured commerce interface. So since both of them is using Herms agents as their hands and feet and Nemotron Super as their brain, we could easily configure the tools and skills to add more function as needed or strip the tools away from them so it doesn't go rogue. So this is the beauty of Herms. We can shape it however we want. We could even give them memories to learn the user's patterns or connect to messaging apps, as that is all within the capabilities of Herms. So for this demo, I mainly wanted to show a set of tools that I made for them and some autonomous skills on the merchant sides, as you will see in the demo now. So first of all, these are both separate sandboxes. So we have the buyer sandbox over here, and then we have the merchant sandbox on the right. So that's just to show that it's running on Docker. Okay, so let's begin with the process, the flow. So first, the user would link the card on Stripe, which allows the card to do a minimum charge to authorize payment so the agent can start buying stuff for the user. So let's do this process. It says receive checkout, and then we have to put in our credentials to allow the agent to start spending with us. We log in, processing, and successful. So that's how easy it is. Now the agent can start buying stuff for us. So let's go through the experience then, shall we? We can start the daily spending so the agent doesn't go above this daily spending, of course. And let's go. So let's say that I wanted to buy some bagels and burgers or beef and some light bulbs as well, because the merchant now is a supermarket. It sells a variety of inventory. So let's say, what do you have for sale, for example? So this is already pre-configured in the skills, and the skills for the Nemo Herms on the buyer side, because it already fetched the catalog from the merchant side. So you can see what they are selling. And so let's say today I want to buy cinnamon rolls, and let's have a drink and coffee, or lemon tea actually. So I want to buy cinnamon rolls and lemon tea. So Nemo Herms, the Herms agent on the buyer side, would process this request. Okay, so that was quite fast, 10 seconds around there. So Nemo Herms has successfully replied now. He has found the two items, the cinnamon roll and the cinnamon tea. And this is how the Nemo Herms thought of the request. It matched the product and had a quantity of one each. So we can also have like something a little spicy. Let's say, I want the cinnamon roll only, actually. And the Nemo Herms should be able to process that, and it will remove lemon tea from the cart. So there is some processing to think, and yeah, it only processed the cinnamon roll. Okay, so now this is the spicy part. Once we do the checkout, it will go to the exchange theater, which will show that it traced over to the merchant side. Okay, quite easy to understand, and you can see how it flows from the checkout to the merchant, and then we're expecting to see a trace of automated stuff happening here. Okay, so let's do a checkout then. Checkout, I want that cinnamon roll now. And here we go, cinnamon roll received, order checkout, shipment order has been dispatched, and just like that, this is all automatic by the merchant side. This is all the Hermes received the order, it said it checked inventory, it split into the warehouse, and it sent the shipment order to the warehouse workers. So let's say, for example, that I had another sandbox outside. For this demo, I didn't make a third sandbox because it was taxing on my system to show the third sandbox of how the merchant would connect to the other warehouses or the other sandboxes to do the shipping. Anyways, now we can also talk to the merchant side. Let's say that, what did we sell today, for example? And the merchant side is also have this Hermes with the skills and tools for it to be able to make this answer. And the merchant side has a totally different kind of sandbox compared to the Hermes, the buyer side, because the buyer side is more to the consumer, and they would have just the simple stuff, linking cards to be able to buy, reason with the Hermes, and the merchant side is more enterprise, where you have all the analytics and all this stuff. So let's just expand this side. Okay, we can expand here. So this is the cinnamon roll order that we just got just now, 5 ringgit 90. So we can actually trace the transaction, open the Stripe dashboard. This is to show the proper, like, how it will show up on the dashboard of Stripe, because this is also connected to Stripe, of course. So we can see how much money we got from the purchase from the buyers now, and you can see, yes, we got the cinnamon roll payment. That's how easy it is to purchase. The agent does it for you. This is now, we're going to the technical side, more technical. So this is a technical topology that I have of my project. So at the top we have the host layer. These are the human facing services, the buyer dashboard, the merchant console, and the exchange theater, which is forwarded from the sandboxes. So it only exposes the dashboard, it doesn't expose the inner of the agents. Okay, so the important point is that the host layer is only the surface. It does not hold payment keys, it does not directly run the sensitive commerce logic. And then on the left here, the sandbox, but this is where Nemo Hermes operates as the buyer side shopper agent. It can interpret the requests, search merchants, compare products. The merchant searching is based on who the merchant, which merchant is exposing their protocol. And then we compare the products, we can check the policy, prepare checkouts, and return an audit trail. So for the audit trail, this is more finer stuff, the detailed stuff. We can go to the cinnamon roll order that we did just now, and we can see this is the whole order detail, and this is the audit trail that was left behind to show the payment and everything. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward and clear, because if a human were to do this repeatedly over time, this audit trail becomes tiring. Okay, so you can also send a request for refund or report an issue to the seller. Hey, my cinnamon roll was expired. Okay, so then the merchant would actually get this notification from the shopper messages saying that there was a report and saying the cinnamon roll was expired. Okay, this is just a short example, but yeah, so that's one of the other capabilities that that the Mercury shows, and the capability of Herms as well. So on the right, we have the merchant sandbox. This is where the real commerce backend lives. The registry, the ACP servers, the merchant agents, the product catalog, all those stuff is all on their own sandbox. So the key boundary is the buyer talks to merchants through the ACP, but the payment credentials stay inside the sandboxes. Stripe is only reachable from the merchant side. So the architecture is, Mercury is the surface, Nemo Herms is the buyer agent, ACP is the protocol, and Nemo is what keeps the workloads isolated. Okay, this second image shows the end-to-end purchase flow. So this is still the second part, the more technical side. So the flow starts with the buyer making a natural language request in the buyer dashboard. For example, the user might ask for apples and 1 milk. Okay, then this request is then turned into an intent, which is routed to the buyer side logic. Nemo Herms then searches the merchant registry and discover the ACP merchants, compares the catalogs, and checks the buyer's policies rules. And then once an offer is selected, the user must confirm to, you don't want to suddenly get charged a lot of money for no reason. And then, but you can also set it up that way. You can also set it up so that it just auto charges, of course. But this is just a default rule where we block the checkout not to do it straight away. But you can talk to the agent, of course, to say, okay, check this out for me, for example. Okay, and then we will move on from the checkout, and it runs the Stripe test payment on the merchant side and writes the order and emits an exchange of trace events. So this is important for auditing and everything like that. So the exchange theater shows the proof trail. You can see the shopper agent events, merchant ACP events, Stripe events, trust events linked together by a shared trace ID. So the theater actually is showing the real protocol path, intent, discovery, checkout, payment, audit, and fulfillment, all that stuff. So let's next go from the safety. Now we talk about the market expansion, the scaling. So this demo is not just tied to all of these small things, okay? So today, Mercury runs with a local registry, seeded merchants, a 3-pane UI, okay? It proves the end-to-end path works. So one of the key advantages of this system is that the sandboxes are already fully pre-configured. So the buyer sandbox, the merchant sandbox are packaged environments with all the required services, agents, and integrations already wired together. So that means deployment is straightforward. Instead of building infrastructure from scratch, you can spin up the sandboxes that are ready to run unite. The only real setup required is configuring the network layer so the users and services can connect securely across the environment. So this makes the system highly portable. You can deploy it locally, in a cloud environment, or across distributed infrastructure with minimal friction. Each merchant can run its own isolated Nemo open shell, complete with an ACP server, catalog, all those stuff, without needing to redesign the architecture. So the next step is a persistent registry and onboarding AI. So right now we don't have that because this is just a demo. So instead of hard-coded demo merchants can register their ACP URL categories Virgin health checks, and this allows the network to grow dynamically as new participants join. From there, the system expands into a network of interpolable commerce cells. Each merchant operates independently but participates in a shared protocol layer. This enables true cross-market discovery and routing. The important point is that this is not limited to supermarkets. Mercury can expand across retail, industrial procurements, services, logistics, healthcare, construction, energy, government, digital codes, and way more. At scale, bioagents like Nemoherns becomes autonomous operators. They can discover merchants through registries, route across markets, compare offers. This is where the system moves beyond the simple e-commerce. It becomes a foundation for agent-driven supply chains. Instead of humans manually sourcing, comparing, and ordering, agents can continuously optimize purchasing decisions, manage inventory flows, and coordinate the fulfillment across multiple vendors. And this demo shows the smallest part of it. It shows the smallest part. It can expand to be way more. So the long-term direction is a fully autonomous commerce layer. Many merchants, many industries, policy-aware, federated registries, all the stuff. So the demo thesis, Mercury starts as a local demo. Architecture is an open exchange layer for agent commerce. It points towards a future where agent shopping and autonomous supply chains become the default model for how businesses operate. But I'm not seeing this in the anytime soon in the future, because this the agent protocol thing is currently only limited to the US. So the Stripe, if you saw the link, for the link, I wanted to do the link payment actually for agents, but it's only limited to USA right now. So that's a bit, you can't have agents control that yet. But in the future, this would be crazier. It can totally automate the link payment as well, so you don't have to go through all the checkout manually. So yeah, that's my hackathon submission. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was, thanks for your time if you watched to the end. I hope this was a enlightening journey. I mean, not enlightening, I would say, I hope this was a fun journey to watch on how my project actually came together. Thank you.